we are to love them just like a member of our body. Look, it's not that Paul is using our bodies as using that as an example, just to say, okay, well, it's like she's a member of your body. When the two become one flesh, how many bodies are there? There's one body. She's a member of your body. And what he does is, again, he points to Christ and the church and says, look, you husbands, love your wives as your own body, just like Christ loves the church, his body. That's how you love your wife. You know, in verses 28 to 30, Paul tells us to love your wife like this. That's the standard that Christ set when he died for us, his body. Paul tells us when you're married, you become one flesh. That means that your wife is not like a part of your body, but she is a part of your body. So just like you don't ignore any other part of your body when it has a need, you don't ignore your wife when she has a need. Look, let me point to just like I don't ignore any other part of my body when it has a need, I will not ignore you when you have a need. Now look, get that this is tough to do. This is definitely tough to do. Which again is why Paul tells us back in verse 18 that this is the result of being filled with the Holy Spirit. You can't do this on your own. Husbands, you're having trouble loving your wife as Christ loved the church? Well, look, you're going to have trouble doing it. But if you're not doing it, it's because you're lacking the filling of the Holy Spirit. You got to walk in the Spirit to do this thing. You got to walk in the Spirit to do this thing. Let me give you this last point. Verse 31, Paul says, therefore, a man shall leave his father and mother and hold fast to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. This mystery is profound, and I am saying that it refers to Christ and the church. However, let each one of you love his wife as himself, and let the wife see that she respects her husband. Here, he's quoting Genesis 2:24. And what we look at Genesis 2:24 as is the foundation of marriage. Anytime we're trying to understand how and why God created marriage, we look back to Genesis 2:24. And we see that God said, he brought Adam and Eve together, and then he said that the two shall become one flesh. More important, though, the most important part here that we see in verse 32. Well, first, we've seen already that in marriage, wives imitate the church's submission to Christ. We also see that in marriage, husbands imitate Christ's self-sacrificial love for the church. Now, in this last portion, we see that Paul is telling us that marriage imitates Christ's redemption of mankind. Marriage is a poster to give you a preview of Christ's love for the church. I want you to get that. God didn't just give us marriage for romance. He didn't just give us marriage for companionship. He didn't just give us marriage for childbearing. What God did is he gave us marriage so that all over the earth we would be able to see, so that all over the earth the world would be able to see, so that all over the earth everyone would be able to see a picture of Christ's love for his people. That's why he gave us marriage. I went to a wedding recently that helped Tanaya and I out a great deal in figuring out how we were going to do our wedding invitations. And on their wedding invitation, they said it this way. They said, "Delight us with your presence for a time of celebrating the union of Christ in this church." Watch. As portrayed by the wedding of Ruth and Emmanuel. Did you hear that? That's what a wedding invitation is supposed to look like. It's not about the groom. It's not about the bride. It's not about our romance. What it's about is portraying the love of Christ for his church to the entire world. We absolutely love that, and we'll have similar wording on our invitations. But I need you to get that it's not just about romance. It's not just about the love and the love of the husband and the wife. It's not just about the beauty of the bride or her having her day.